Good evening and welcome to a very special edition of previously unseen clips from this series of Would I Lie to You? Joining David Mitchell tonight, Dermot O'Leary, Kirsty Young, Stephen Mangan, Sarah Millican, Richard Osman, Izzy Sooty, Greg Rutherford, Joan Bakewell, Jason Manford, Susan Cowman, Mel Gedroich and John Richardson. And joining Lee Mack tonight, Warwick Davis, Josh Widdicombe, David Harewood, Matt Dawson, Carol Kirkwood, Bob Mortimer, Paul Hollywood, Joanna Scanlan, David O'Doherty, Charles Dance and Doc Wang. And so to round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they've no idea what they'll be faced with. And it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. That Charles is first up.
Whenever I answer the house phone and it's someone I don't wish to speak to, I take a message and pretend I am my fictional handyman, Sean.
David.
So do you answer in Sean's voice all the time? So that in case it's someone you don't want to speak to?
I leave a pause and wait for the person on the other end to say hello.
You answer the phone with silence?
And I can usually tell by the hello whether it's somebody I wish to speak to. And if I'm not in the mood to speak to anybody, you know, I say, no, I'm sorry, Charles isn't home now. Try calling back later, you know.
What part of Scotland is Sean from?
It's from the west side of Belfast.
But Charles, if you don't want to speak to anyone at all, why pick up the phone?
Well, it's a kind of obsessive thing, you know, it's the insecurity that actors have, you know. You think, oh, my God, it might be a job, you know, I just...
Well, let's give it a try. I'll ring you, OK?
Yeah.
OK.
Has he not bought a telephone since 1983?
Hello? Hello? Charles? Hello?
Hey, no, this is not Charles. Charles isn't home now at the moment, but if you'd like to leave your number, I'll get him to call you back when he's back, yeah?
Charles, are you ill? Charles, I'm calling for an ambulance now. It's all right. Get in the recovery position. Oh, God, I'm on my way. So, what are you thinking, Stephen Mangan?
I can't see that. Who picks up the phone and doesn't say hello? It's an innate human instinct, isn't it? You can't pick up the phone and go... I know I'm Sean.
Izzy, what do you think?
I don't think you just pick up the phone and not say anything. The person might be able to hear you breathing. It all gets a bit creepy.
So which way are you going to go with this, David?
I think we don't think it's true.
You think it's a lie?
Yeah.
OK, Charles, truth or lie?
I'm afraid it's a lie.
Joan Bakewell, it's your turn.
Once, when I spotted an ex-boyfriend in a department store, I pretended to be a shop mannequin to avoid having to speak to him.
Lee?
Well, I know what I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, sorry, no, it's probably different. Sorry. You want to see the mannequin thing? Oh, right. Oh, yeah, whatever. Do that, yeah. Do that, but then we do mine, yeah?
I would like to see the mannequin impression.
Well, it was in the department where they used to sell a lot of fabrics, and they used to have mannequins draped in just swathes of cloth. So I grabbed a swathe of fabric and just dragged it across my shoulder, and it was full length.
Where was this? Well, we haven't said where it was.
It was in Dickens and Jones on Regent Street.
Oh, lovely.
And when was this?
Oh, it's a long time ago, early in the 60s.
Surely you weren't old enough to shop on your own in the early 60s, Joe?
So gallant.
No, I'm kidding, I believe you.
I've said sorry to mannequins before now in the department stores. I've done
Yeah,
that.
but what were you doing to them?
Yeah.
What do you think, Lee? Is it the truth?
Warren, what do you think? Do you think there's...
I think she's telling the truth.
Really? Do you think...
The thing for me is, if you're within 6 or 8 foot of an ex and you don't recognise it because you're static, it just seems...
I wouldn't know. I've never been allowed within 8 feet of my ex. Go on, then. I'll say it's a lie.
OK, they're saying it's a lie. Joan, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It's a lie.
A lie. Dermot, you're next.
I sometimes move bowls and plates from the bottom to the top of the pile so they don't feel left out.
Lee?
How much time have you got on your hands?
Is this system only for the plates and the bowls, nothing else?
It's for the side plates, big plates, and your regular bowls. So, for example, if the 4 have gone in the dishwasher and there's, say, 2 left, I like those 2 guys to be first up next time, which I do understand attributes some kind of personality to an inanimate object.
That's why they put you on David's side.
How many bowls are there? It works with all crockery.
Wouldn't work with egg cups, though, would it? Because you couldn't really stack them in the same way.
No.
But that's a good question. Would the egg cups at the back be brought to the front?
We only have 2, so they get used pretty regularly. They're pretty happy.
How about if you only had 2 plates?
Dermot can't have 2 plates.
Thank you, Rob.
Imagine the sort of dinner parties he has. Imagine who's coming to those dinner parties. Cowell, Walliams, McPartlin, Donnelly.
And Dett, they're using the egg cups as bowls.
When was the last time, if you can remember, that you actually thought it's time for a change? Let's move these fellas out of the way. Let's bring these guys up. How recently were they?
Oh, last week.
Really?
Last week, yeah. There was 1 single plate there, and I thought, when did that guy last get used?
Yeah.
I'm thinking at least a fortnight. He's got to go to the top.
Dermot, how do you keep track of how many pills and tablets you're meant to take in any one day? Do you have a system, or does your carer really oversee all of that?
What does your wife think?
Weirdly, I only told her about it a couple of weeks ago.
Are you worried that your wife's doing the same thing? And
What?
so...
Very good, yeah. That's a good point.
Dermot, you call them guys. Are there no lady plates, lady bowls?
No, I mean, that's a catch-all term. Some bowls have a femininity about them, yeah. But no, they're sort of omnisex.
Oh, OK.
I don't mind being called guys.
Well, you're only one. You're a guy, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a very middle-class thing, I think, calling... parents would call their children guys. That always makes you want to vomit.
Yeah, true, isn't it?
You guys want to help with the washing up?
Oh, yeah.
The worst one is, come on, guys, let's do the washing up. And they go, you're not my real dad.
Well, there we are. Lee, what do you think? Do Dermot's words have the ring of truth about them?
Josh? I think so.
Matt Dawson, which way are you leaning?
Lie.
So, Lee, you have to have the casting vote.
We're going to say that it is, in fact, true.
You're saying true. Dermot O'Leary, were you telling us the truth, or were you telling a lie?
I was telling you... the truth.
Yeah. Oh, well done. Give it that. It's David O'Doherty.
I looked after a neighbour's pet for 5 days before I realised it was dead.
David Mitchell and team, what do you think?
OK, what was the species of pet?
His name was Charlie. So initially I thought he was going to be a spaniel at the very least. And then it turned out that he was a stick insect.
Right. Stick insects, I mean, I'm not an expert, David, don't require a huge amount of high maintenance upkeep. What was your role meant to be?
Step 1, greenhouse, eucalyptus, into the cage.
Eucalyptus?
Eucalyptus.
Wasn't a koala bear.
Step 2, water squishy gun. Squish, squish, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So you drowned it?
And because I felt that he might be a bit unhappy, I would take him out into the garden for this. And when the wind blew, he had little aerials, and they'd You know what I mean? Just like a stick insect. So I thought he was alive.
Oh, so the wind gave you the impression that it was moving.
I'm alive. I'm dead. Alive. That's how you'd know.
What's the spraying for?
To simulate the monsoon environment.
They come from a part of the world where there's a regular daily 25-second monsoon.
Yeah.
I think if I'd taken him out, then obviously I would have seen that...
Out of what?
The cage.
Right.
Cage.
So you didn't well, we say cage.
He was in a tight You're supposed to be on my team.
I know that's what they're thinking. So I'm trying to help him on by going, what, you mean that thing that little sticks could get through a cage?
Good question. It was a very tight mesh.
Let's call it a glass cage or a tank.
No, because... No, they couldn't breathe then.
No, you don't have a lid on it. You have a... Oh, actually, no, good. I was going to say you have a
will
mesh.
You stop designing hutches for stick insects?
So how did you eventually know that he was dead?
I was putting in the eucalyptus and removing yesterday's eucalyptus, and he was...
Who had been eating yesterday's eucalyptus?
No, it was... I just take it out, and he was like this, OK? And then when I took it out, it brushed past him, and he just reacted like this. And you know...
Yeah.
That's a fair description.
So what are you thinking, David? Is that truthful, or has he made it all up?
I don't think it's true, because I think stick insects sort of live in gangs and aren't as he describes them.
Gangs?
What's the collective noun for lots of stick insects?
Trees.
Do you two think it's true? Because I'm very happy to defer.
It has the ring of truth to it.
I would go for... I'll say false.
Susan says lie. Richard?
I say true.
You say true. David?
Well, I think it's a lie, so...
You think it's a lie? You're saying it's a lie. OK,
think?
fair enough. David, they think you're telling a lie. Were you telling a lie, or were you telling the truth?
This is a 100% trustworthy face, and it was telling the absolute truth.
Sorry.
It's David Mitchell.
I once got stuck in a cave for an hour after getting the hood of my cagoule caught on a stalactite in a way I couldn't untwizzle.
Right, caves and stalactites. Lee, Mack's team.
Well, the bit that we definitely believe about that story is cagoule. Yeah. We're not doubting cagoule.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Red.
And when in the last 3 weeks did this happen?
This happened when I was a boy, a child, a human
child.
Boy child. What cave was it?
It was somewhere in France.
Ah, holiday?
Yes.
Deliberate ploy by parents to get rid of you? Give him the baggy cagoule and find a stalactite, then run.
You were in there for an hour?
Yeah, I was caught on the stalactite.
For an hour?
For an hour,
Just
yeah.
remind me again, stalactites go down, right?
Stalactites hang down.
Hang down.
Stalagmites go up. And the easy way to remember it is
Yeah.
that stalactites have a C in them. Stalactite, C for ceiling.
Yeah.
Stalagmites have a G, G for ground.
No, it's the stalactites come down, isn't it?
Tights go up as well.
No, they don't. Not when I'm around.
How did you eventually escape?
My dad came and released me.
So you're with your family on this trip?
Well, they were sort of...
It took them an hour to find you. I would have thought, if I'd have lost you and you'd have been my child, it would have been 6 or 7 days.
Right, so what are you thinking, Lee? Could this be true?
What do you think?
I'm going to go for a lie.
You think it's a lie? Bob?
Lie for me, Lee.
Lie.
Lie. David?
It's a lie.
Yes. Joanna, you're next.
I used to vet potential boyfriends by getting them to play me at darts. I could tell more about them in one game than I could on 10 dates.
David?
So, what was it about their darts playing that told you things about their personality?
Stance. It's the sort of liquidity of the way they stand in that position.
The liquidity?
But was this linked to, you thought, their character or their physical prowess, if I can put it that way?
It's character. It was all about the character.
Well, here's the thing, because one of our panellists is quite accomplished at darts. Oh, yeah. It's Lee. So, Lee, would you demonstrate?
Yes.
And then we could ask Joanna to analyse and come to her own conclusions.
You're good at darts.
I've been known to do double tops, I think you know what I'm saying. So what I tend to do is I tend to go like this. That's the line. And now I'll take my dart.
Where's the board, sorry?
That's a good question. That's what I was thinking. That's the first thing I'd do is I'd go, hang on, there's no board. Because I know what I'm doing. And then I would take the dart. I will lean forward with all the weight on the right leg, keeping it straight, of course. I'm not an idiot. I'll then raise the hand, the little finger. Note the little finger is in the air. It's weight. If I put it down, I will fall to the left. I have to ballast myself with the finger out. And I'd go like that. Might give a cheeky wiggle of the bottom to the lady watching. And then... Oh, he's only got an 180 again. I'm going to collect the things. I'm so proud. I'll probably moonwalk to the board. Oh, Christ. I didn't know about that. Usually, ockies are straight. And then I would grab the darts like that. And go, they're for you, princess. That's how I roll.
Now then, you've seen a fulsome display. So what judgments, what conclusions would you have come to about Lee from that?
You all saw it. There's evidence there of the kind of... It's about a certain sort of flow.
Yes.
And I think Lee gives quite a good impression of being a bit of a moron.
It's true, he does.
But,
he does.
But what I think that belies is the fact that underneath it he is a bit of a kind old softie.
Yay!
Yay! And that's kind of what I'm looking for.
So, David, what do you think?
Kirsty, what do you think?
I would tend to think it's true.
Correct?
Yeah, I sort of think the same.
Can I say I'm sort of 70%? I'm not 100%.
What percent are you?
50.
You're 50?
Well, the thing is, it could be either, that's the thing.
Well, that...
I know! True. True. OK, so, Joanna, truth or lie?
In fact, it is a lie.
It's Gok.
Right. I always use 2 toothbrushes to brush my teeth, one for the top set, one for the bottom.
David's team.
I believe it.
Can I just check? When you say one for the bottom...
How do you tell the two apart?
Different colours, one pink and one blue. Always pink up top, always blue down below.
Just talk us through it. So
Right.
you're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OK, so I'm in the bathroom, I have my shower, I fully body moisturise...
I can vouch for all of this.
And then I go to brush my... And it's quite a big ritual for me, because when I was younger, I was bullied by the way that I look, you see, so...
I think it's fair to say, Gok, you weren't bullied by the way you look, were you?
Because of the way I look. Yes, absolutely.
It's an important distinction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, you're being bullied by a concept, aren't you?
This is true. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm feeling slightly bullied again. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, you can see how it started, can't you?
So, as I was saying, I was bullied, and one of the big reasons was because of my big teeth and my big smile. And so I was always very, very aware of how big my mouth is.
Why are you looking at Stephen, Rob?
Well, I thought they might have met at a support group.
Teeth Anonymous.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you think?
Is he?
I think this is definitely true.
He's very plausible in his chat, but I can't see someone doing that.
I'm going to say lie.
OK, so, Gok, truth or lie?
Was a lie.
That was a Richard Osman, you're next.
When I was a child, I created a superhero called Snooker Table Man. He had 3 key skills and 1 mortal enemy.
Lee.
Let's start with the obvious. Who's the mortal enemy of Snooker Table Man?
Vampire Ray.
Not...
It was based loosely around Ray Reardon.
Ray Reardon?
What were his 3 skills, Richard?
A lot of his skills didn't have an awful lot to do with snooker, I'll be honest with you. He took on the form of a snooker table, because then he could get...
Whoa. What? Just one question to clarify. What the hell are you talking about?
Right, snooker table man he would take on the form of a snooker table in the same way that the TARDIS would take on the form of a phone box. It's not crazy. And he would be able to go into the houses of very rich and successful and famous people.
But it's not like the
spy on
TARDIS,
them.
is it? The TARDIS is the vehicle that the superhero, for want of a better word, travels round in.
Yeah.
If you're snooker table man and there's a child trapped in a building, and you go, what are we going to do? Don't worry, it's snooker table man. And then you turn into a snooker table and you go, now what? And I go, that's all I can do.
So what was his purpose? What did he do?
His purpose was to go into the houses of very rich people who were trying to, for various reasons, take over the world. And he would... Firstly, he would report back on them, because he had wireless transistors in the pockets.
Whoa. So he would... So he would go into the houses of very, very rich people...
Right, admit that is a good disguise if you want to get into...
No, it's a terrible disguise. It's a terrible disguise unless the person in question has ordered a snooker table. Otherwise, they'll go, it's the worst disguise in the world. They'll go, the hell did that come from?
You think any rich person, if they were given a delivery of a snooker table, wouldn't go, oh, lovely, a snooker
yes,
table?
Yes, they would.
Yeah.
But you didn't say you were given delivery. You said you suddenly appeared in an empty room.
No, I didn't. What do you mean, what, transport
So
myself?
you knock on the door and you go, hello, I'm here to give you a snooker table.
You are...
That was it. That was your...
Now you're making it sound ridiculous.
How did he move around?
He didn't move around. That's the beauty of him.
People moved around him. That's snooker tables.
You know what? I won't tell the rest of this story if you're going to mock me.
What are the other powers you haven't told us about?
Yeah. Well, I've given you the two. And the third
what
one
was the second one?
Transistors in pockets.
The transistors, yeah. The ability to transmit information.
Who two?
And two... Oh, who do you think, if we're trying to save the world, who do you think he's transmitting to?
Steve Davis.
Firstly, me.
What was your third power, then?
The third power was exploding balls.
And how would he use his exploding balls? In what situation would he want his balls to explode?
Finally, a sensible question. If I've received enough information that the person whose home this snooker table is in is up to no good, is up to nefarious activities.
Yes.
OK? The next time they're playing a game of snooker, I can then make those balls explode at will.
If you were playing this game in Wales, you wouldn't call it snooker.
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 Yeah, snooker.
Because we don't like the ooh sound. It's the same with tooth. We'd say tooth.
Yeah, and likewise, we don't like the Welsh.
Lee, what are you thinking?
I think it's a big fat lie.
You think it's a lie?
I mean, I think he's a large man. He's like a snooker table.
I'm not 12 foot by 6 foot, you know that.
I think I'm going to say that was a lie.
You think it's a lie? OK, Richard, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
It's John Richardson.
When I was a child, I was told to stop stalking a clown.
Why were you stalking a clown?
Because I liked him.
How old were you, John?
9.
What was the name of the clown?
Dozy David.
Dozy David?
He was opening a shopping centre where I grew up, and I saw what I believed was genuine magic.
What did he do?
He did card tricks, and he juggled, and he did jokes, made animals from balloons.
What was the nature of your stalking? Physically following him or phoning him? Or...
It was on the phone.
How did you get his number?
Because I asked for his autograph and he gave me his card.
What, Dozy Dave?
I thought for a minute then you were going to say, he gave me your autograph and included his number. OK. So talk us through then what happens. You leave it a day or two, do you?
I left it a day or two because I didn't want to look...
Classy.
You know.
Give him a chance to get home in his car that keeps falling apart. So what did you do? Talk us through the first conversation.
Well, no, that's the thing. He never answered his phone. So I used to leave messages. Hey David, it's Johnny here from Lancaster. Just worrying if you're coming back and doing any shows, or give us a ring, we'll see what happens. He never rang back, so I had to ring him again, didn't I?
Right. And how long did this go on for?
Well, a few weeks.
How many times in those few weeks did you ring him?
I would imagine it was something like every other day.
And was it the same messages, or was it getting steadily more menacing? Were you going, now listen here, Dozy Dave. If you don't call me back, I know where you live. I've got your address on the card. I've got your number. Yeah? I'll come round your house. I know where you keep your balloons. If you don't call me, I'll get a bucket of confetti and I'll throw it right in your face and you'll think it's water. Yeah. And what's worse than that? Just watching you.
Yeah, what's worse? I'm gonna come round and mend your car.
Did this carry on long enough that the message, your voice was getting deeper and deeper?
No, listen here. This has been 23 years. How'd you make a poodle out of a balloon?
How did it end then, John?
It ended very upsettingly when his wife or girlfriend answered the phone and said, David says, will you stop calling the house?
Oh, this is a heartbreaking story. Lee, what do you think? Could that tale of woe be true?
I think it fits his character profile. Sweet. I think it's probably true.
So, David?
I think it's true.
True?
For me, yeah.
We'll say
you all think it's true. John, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling a truth.
Lee, how do you know Ian?
This is Ian. He is my supermarket delivery driver who accidentally got... I can't remember. I just want you to know this is absolutely true. Right? But they do insist that we say it exactly the way it happened.
So
exactly
here we go.
Right. This is David. No, what's your name?
Lee, perhaps you'd like to explain how you know Ian.
Never met him. This is Ian. Right.
Lee.
This is Ian. This is Ian. Listen, I think it's fair to say the opposition have got it down to 50-50.
So, Lee, how do you know Ian?
This is Ian. Ian, do me a favour, could you sellotape that to your face? Right. This is Ian. He is the supermarket delivery driver who accidentally trapped me in the back of his van and drove me to his next drop-off point.
Right. And finally, David, what is Lee to you? Not Lee, sorry. Good evening and welcome to Would I Lie to You at Christmas, a very special edition filled with festive fibs. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a man who knows all about the story of Christ as they were at school together. It's comedy legend Barry Cryer. And a comedian and actor who lists among his hobbies cricket, fly fishing and tea tasting. We've had him flown all the way here from 1953. From Rev, it's Miles Jupp. On David Mitchell's team tonight, forget 10 lords a-leaping or 7 swans a-swimming. We'd prefer 1 Miranda a-falling. It's Miranda Hart. And he's the comedy actor who does episodes of episodes with his friend who was in Friends. It's Stephen Mangan. So, let's begin with round 1, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they got no idea what they'll be faced with. And it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction, and Stephen Mangan is first up. Stephen, off you go.
One Christmas, my wife bought me a dog. Rather than think up a name for it, I took him for a walk in a cemetery and named him after the first gravestone he showed an interest in.
Well, that's lovely and festive, isn't it? Please, Steve.
What was on the initial gravestone?
John Samuels.
John Samuels. So your dog is called John Samuels?
Dog is called John Samuels.
And this...
He's a Bedlington Terrier. They're sort of, do you know, they've got curly hair.
Was it chosen, the curly-haired dog, for any specific reason, Stephen?
No, I can't think of a reason why I'd choose a curly-haired dog.
This dog, has it got big gnashers?
Lee,
I'm not sure where this is going.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Oh, yeah, sorry. This dog, has it got big gnashers? Happy Christmas.
What time of day do you tend to walk your dog in cemeteries, Stephen?
Well, he was only a puppy, so I was actually carrying him, so it wasn't really a walk.
So how did he show interest if you were carrying him? Did he leap from your arms?
He wagged his tail.
Wagged his tail. And up until that point, he hadn't wagged his tail.
OK.
He'd had a really miserable Christmas. He'd had a miserable walk or carry. Everything.
Here's the story. I'd asked my wife, if you're watching this, to cover John Samuel's ears. We told him it was the one he showed an interest in, but his ears covered, had secretly decided it was going to be the first one inside the gate. He thinks it's because he wagged his tail, but actually it was the first...
He thinks it's because he wagged his tail.
Yeah.
Think about what you're saying, Steve. Have you had a chat with him? Wait till he finds out he was adopted. He's going to...
Tell us about the lovely, heartwarming scenario on Christmas morning when Mrs. Mangan whipped out a puppy for you. I mean, was it I think you know full well that's not what I meant, Miranda. How did she present the puppy to you?
The puppy came with her parents.
Wow, that's a hell of a present.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it a special offer?
They were coming round to ours for lunch, and they brought the puppy in a little basket with a bow round its neck.
Oh, that's lovely.
And a big sign saying, to Stephen.
Honestly, Stephen, how much did you want the dog?
A lot. I've always wanted a dog. My mum never let us have animals. We had a cat once, but it wasn't allowed in the house.
You haven't really got the cat then, have you, in that case? Did she just point at cats and yeah, that belongs to us? We had a cat, but he wasn't allowed in the house.
Well, there was
in that case, we own a cow.
Is this the first time you've done this?
Yeah, we only have one dog.
Pets,
We've got one dog, that's it. No.
Have you got any children?
2 children.
How did you name them?
What, Burger King and Boots?
So what are you thinking, Lee? Does this sound truthful to you?
I'm not sure, really. What do you think, Barry?
Too much erratic detail in it. I don't think the narrative holds together.
Miles?
I think this couldn't be less true.
You don't think it could be less true?
No.
What if it's a lie? That's definitely less true if it's a lie, isn't it?
If I'm going
I don't think it
if I'm going to talk
less.
semantics with someone tonight, Lee, it won't be you.
I love having Miles on the show. He's the only person in the world that can make David Mitchell sound like Danny Dyer.
I don't believe Stephen.
So you think it's a lie?
I do think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
Yes.
Well, I disagree with you, so I think it's not true.
Right, Stephen, were you telling the truth, or were you telling a lie?
Amazingly, it's a lie!
Yes, it's a lie. Stephen didn't take his dog for a walk in a cemetery to choose its name. Barry, you're next.
I'm in a 4-man pub quiz team with a butcher, a baker, and a candlestick maker.
David's team.
What's the name of this team?
Quartet.
How did you get to know the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker?
In the pub. There was much mirth because we realised it was butcher, baker, and candlestick maker.
What's the name of your butcher friend?
Harry Granger.
And the
was
baker?
Quite quick.
Ed.
Ed what?
Ed Saville.
And the candlestick maker?
It's called...
He's called Bill Grimes.
No, it's not!
Just because you're dressed in like the 19th century, the names don't have to be for the 19th century.
So, Barry, remind me again, the 3 names are?
Bill, Harry and Ed.
And their surnames?
Grimes. Do you know you've got me there?
Savile and Granger.
OK, next question.
Granger. Have the visitors been?
They brought you some flowers, Barry.
Did they?
And some chocolates, yes.
They steal your trousers when you're asleep.
So what do you think then, David?
What do you think, Miranda?
I don't know.
I do.
I think it's completely and utter untrue.
Codswallop.
Codswallop.
So what are you going to say, David?
Well, I think we'll say it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
Yes.
Oh, dear, dear, dear. Barry, truth or lie?
It was.
Yes, it's a lie. Barry's not in a four-man pub quiz team. Miles, you're next.
Every morning, I eat one of those mini multi-pack cereals, but to save time and washing up, I pour the milk straight into the packet.
David's team.
One of the mini variety pack cereals.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
Are you often in a rush of a morning? Why are you needing to save time, please?
What I don't enjoy doing is washing up, and I've taken a sort of stand. I bought a dishwasher, and my wife doesn't like dishwashers, so she insists that I wash everything up.
Wow.
What is it about dishwashers that Mrs. Jupp objects to?
Yeah.
She objects to the noise. She objects to...
Oh, they're so
They are very
noisy, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like a pneumatic drill in the corner of the kitchen.
If you have a problem with some of my wife's opinions, you must take this up with her, Rob. She objects to the rise of the machines.
Does she think that the dishwasher represents the thin end of some kind of robotic takeover wedge?
Yeah, robotic takeover wedge is the very phrase, David.
Yeah. Where does she stand on the Hoover?
That is not how a Hoover operates.
Miles, what are the cereals you get in those little boxes?
This is the test, isn't it?
Well, you get Frosties,
Good
Rice
stuff.
Krispies,
Nice.
Yep.
cornflakes, Crunchy Nut cornflakes, Cocoa Pops.
3 more to go.
What's your favourite?
If you don't get this right, this last one, it'll be Cheerio to you.
That reminds me, hula hoops, what are they called? No, Cheerios, and then it's actually on a rotation, so there will be some swaps. You don't always get 8 separate.
Can we trouble you for a full mime?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You've got a little box of Cocoa Pops there.
I draw up the inner bag, and I open it like this, carefully.
Yeah, draw out its little underwear.
You've given away a lot there, David.
So I pour the milk into the bag, and then I eat the cereal, and then when there's a little bit of milk left over, I pour that into my mouth.
Meanwhile, his wife sat in the corner weeping.
Do you find no problem of sort of sloppage between bag and inner cardboard?
Well, if I spilled something, I would get some sort of disposable material, such as kitchen roll, and wipe it up and then drop it straight into the...
You don't find that something sort of leaks down, a bit of sticky goo, in a way that would be displeasing to someone as tidy as you?
No,
This is like C-3PO talking to R2-D2.
I don't have any breakfast time seepage issues.
Well, when you've been married a while, that sort of stuff does tend to tail off. What do you think, truth or lie?
Well, what's clear is that Miles' wife is Amish. He's not accepting of her religious views.
Yeah.
And that's very, very sad. What do you think, Stephen?
I think he's thrashing about and drowning in a lie soup.
What are you thinking, Miranda?
Because it's so ridiculous, I'm veering towards the truth.
You think true?
Yeah, why not?
You think lie?
I think a lie.
I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie? OK. Miles, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling a... lie.
It was a lie. Yeah. Miles doesn't pour milk straight into cereal packets to save time. Right. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So, please welcome this week's special guest, Mike. So, Barry, what is Mike to you?
This is Mike, who is one of the 3 kings who came to visit me at Christmas.
OK. Miles, what is Mike to you?
This is Mike. We were once told off by our neighbour because our snowman was using up too much snow.
Right. And Lee, what's your relationship with Mike?
This is Mike, and last year I ordered my Christmas turkey from his farm, but I never got to eat it because I formed an unbreakable bond with the bird.
So there we have it. Barry's Christmas king, Miles's fellow snow hog, or Lee's turkey trader. David's team, where would you like to begin?
So, Barry, your story is unclear at the moment. Are you saying that you're the baby Jesus?
No, it was Christmas, and 3 kings visited me.
Kings, what countries were they king of?
They were not kings in the regal sense at all.
In what sense were they kings?
In sense of their name.
Their surname was King?
Yes.
I get it now. Suddenly it's more plausible.
Here we go again. What are the names of the 3 kings?
Yeah. Mike.
Phew!
Tony.
Tony King.
And Dennis.
Dennis King.
Dennis King.
It's a very warm memory I've got of them visiting. I was in hospital.
They visited you in hospital?
Yes.
Can we ask the nature of your hospital visit, or is that too personal a question?
Oh, there might be people eating and watching this.
There won't be anyone watching it, but there might be people eating.
There might be people. I was bandaged up extensively.
Like a mummy?
I was. That's true.
You were bandaged all over?
Yes.
But you don't think it appropriate to say why?
Well, if you insist.
Yes, we do.
Eczema.
Oh.
Happy Christmas time. Happy Christmas time.
Happy Xmas.
Right, what about Miles?
OK, Miles, you and Mike were making a snowman together.
A neighbour was very cross with us because our snowman had used too much snow.
Set the scene. Where were you making the snowman?
Northampton.
So you live in Northampton?
No, I don't live there. Mike lives in Northampton. And I was staying in Northampton.
And why were you staying with Mike?
Yes, because he rents rooms to actors.
So what was the play you were doing in Northampton?
It was called The Way of the World.
Right, and you were staying with Mike?
That's right, yeah.
How did the topic of building a snowman with this relative stranger
Say relative stranger. I
up?
was staying in Mike's house for 2.5 months. What would happen? I would go back to the digs after the show, and Mike would often still be up and say, "Oh, I've just opened a bottle, and do you want a glass?" So I'd sit and we'd chat about how did it go, and I'd say, "Oh, Mike, it was another absolute triumph." And,
so you got to know Mike, and then one day it snowed, and Mike said, "We're friends now."
And at that point, words weren't necessary. You both looked at each other. Come on, Mike.
So that it snowed.
Yeah.
And who brings up the subject of building a snowman?
Oh, well, Mike smokes, so he would go outside on the doorstep. And one day
That's when he noticed the snow.
Well, he hadn't looked out the window at that point because I was telling him theatrical anecdotes, so he was absolutely riveted. He would have no reason to look anywhere other than straight at, whichever part of my body I was using to tell the story.
Which parts of your body can you use to tell stories?
He's a proper actor. He tells stories with his whole body.
It's not just neck-up cynicism.
So Mike hadn't noticed the snow. He went outside.
He said, "Do you know it's snowing?" And so I wandered out, and I was like, "Oh wow, I haven't made a snowman for ages." And we were talking about making snowman, and I said, "You know that thing when you start rolling snow and you can make a snowman really big really quickly because you roll it and it starts picking up." And I started demonstrating.
But only if the snow has already lain and you said it's snowing. Thank you.
Yeah, but how?
I think what you're underestimating, Miranda, is the length of Miles's anecdote. It starts snowing, and then the anecdote finishes. It's about 6 feet of it.
Now That seems more plausible.
Yes. Right, and then what happened?
I used the snow from probably about 3 or 4 houses. I've used all that snow to make one enormous, ridiculously large snowman.
And then what happened? Because then there was an altercation.
When I went out the house the next morning, a chap that lived like 2 doors down said, "Do you know who built the snowman?" I said very proudly, "I built this snowman." And he said, "Well, you've used up all the snow, haven't you?"
Does this house have a back garden?
It does, but the back garden has multiple, lots and lots of locks, whereas the front one, you wanted a cigarette, so you just...
Why did he have so many locks on his back door?
Well, because people are more likely to break into the back... You must know this. People are more likely to break into the back of the house than the front. Yeah.
Now then, Lee's story.
Lee and your bird.
Mike sold you a turkey, is that
Yes.
right?
No, I went to his farm to choose a turkey, but I never got to eat it because I formed an unbreakable bond with that bird.
And it's here tonight?
What was the nature of this bond?
I went to the farm in around about beginning of November, and you choose your bird, and then I was driving past again, and I thought I'd just pop in, have a look at my bird, and so he showed me, and that's when I had a proper look at it, and it looked back at me, and there was something about the look that he gave me that just made me think I don't want to kill him and eat him. So
Did you immediately feel that?
No, this was after we'd had dinner, and. It was about the 3rd day, I think.
So what did you do to save the bird's life?
I said to Mike, change of plan, I will take it home.
What did you have for Christmas dinner that year?
We had turkey, but not that turkey.
So did you say, I'll take him as a pet,
and I'll kill
that one, chop its head off? Because he won't give me the time of day.
So where do you keep a turkey?
In the first place, in the shed. I cleared away all the sharp implements.
A bit of potpourri in a bowl.
If you're not going to take my story seriously, Stephen, I don't want to talk to you.
How did your wife react? She was
well, she, as you know, lives in the shed as well, so she was... she wasn't happy, and she said, I think it's time I made a move into what she calls the house. So, I let her in the house.
What did you call the turkey?
Istanbul.
Istanbul?
Yeah.
Why?
It's in Turkey.
Turkey.
Right, so, David's team. Is Mike Barry's Christmas king, Miles his fellow snow hog, or Lee's turkey trader?
I'm all about Miles.
Yeah.
In every way.
I think it's Barry.
Do you?
Do you?
Do we think Lee is definitely not...
We think Lee is definitely not true. So you think it's Miles?
I think it's Miles.
Stephen's saying Miles.
Sometimes I'm saying Miles, sometimes I'm saying Barry. I'm confused.
It's Barry.
You say it's Barry? OK. Mike, would you please reveal your true identity?
Yeah, I'm the Mike King with the 3 kings who visited Barry on Christmas Day.
Yes, Mike is Barry's Christmas king. Thanks very much, Mike. Thank you. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Live. And we start with... It is David.
Possession.
Now, behind your chair is a box. Open the box, read the card, and then take out the possession.
It's a beautiful box.
Yeah.
I like it.
Look at that. This is entertainment.
Yes. This is my cape. I used to put it on, pretend I was Doctor Who, and head into my TARDIS. Or, as my parents called it, the airing cupboard.
Put the cape on.
All right. It is.
Come, feel free, David. Come and use the floor space. Right. Think back to your dancing days. Come out and use the floor. You could have a glamorous assistant in the form of Miranda.
Oh,
Miranda, would you help David get into his cape?
Hang on.
Am
I put this over there?
That's what I'm thinking.
Hold it in place.
There we go.
That fits. Yeah. That actually fits you really well. Were you exactly the same size as a child?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't see you properly, David. Could you come and stand in front of me and twirl round? So you just...
Lovely.
Yes, that's
That
actually...
is a much
and how old?
reminder of the
How old were
magician.
you? When was this?
I think...
This
This is how I picture you walking around your house now.
How old was I? I think at the time I was first given this cape, I think I was about maybe 10.
10 in that cape?
Maybe 9. It was too big for me initially.
Right, hang on a second. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When you were 9, so to give us an idea of the height, go down, just go give us knees, and we'll see how much it would have dragged. So that would have been you as...
Hang on, it's
Can I have your shoes for a second?
Rocking.
Can I take this off?
What are you doing?
Well, the shoes.
Oh, I see. Right, sorry,
yes, how you might have looked in those days.
Yeah. This is how the police do sort of ageing profiling. Yes. What would he have looked like a few years ago?
Just get yourself on. Hang on, this one's going to...
There we go. It would be...
Did you say your mum and dad got you this cape?
My mum made it.
Your mum made it?
Yeah.
But even though she made it for you, had she no idea what size it should be?
Were you a close family, David?
Why is he getting cramp in my knee?
You can go back to your seat.
Yeah.
I give you permission.
You look like a very middle-class disgruntled Dracula. I didn't get any blood tonight. I'll just shrug back to my chair and bite some virgin's neck tomorrow, I suppose.
So what do you think, Lee? Is it the truth or is it a lie?
What do you think, Barry?
Not a shred of truth.
You don't think? I think it could be true.
It sounds incredibly likely. In fact, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if this is a habit that's actually finished. I imagine he's...
So Barry says a lie.
I'm the odd one out here, aren't I?
You say true.
I hope it's true. I think it's lovely.
I think it's lovely as well, so I'll say it's true.
You're going to say true.
All right.
David, truth or lie?
It is, of course, true.
Yes, it's true. David used to wear his cape and pretend he was Doctor Who. So, next, it's Miranda.
I will not get out of bed on Christmas morning until I have smoked a full cigar.
Oh. What age did this start?
About 33.
What made you start?
Well, when I was giving up smoking, I smoked those thin cigars, so I thought, well, that's not really smoking. And then when I properly gave up smoking, I thought this should just be... It was a Christmas and birthday treat.
How long does it take you to smoke the cigar?
About 6 months. And then start on the birthday one. Always got one on the go, but great to have given up smoking.
Do you smoke the whole cigar?
Smoke the whole cigar.
And how long does that take?
A couple of hours.
That's a lot of puffing.
You're still in bed?
Still in bed.
Do you have the cigar ready the night before, and the little match and everything? You're ready to go?
No, we have stockings in the morning, so we all then huddle around my bed.
Oh, so the family and friends have to come to you, to the base of the bed, and no present opening until it's finished.
Have you by now slipped into the Christmas onesie, or are you still in your negligee?
Negligee.
Yeah, we're all imagining, because there's nothing more arousing than a woman lying down and smoking a big fat cigar.
Yeah, exactly.
I prefer a woodbine girl myself.
Merry Christmas, Lee. Can't get out of bed till this is finished.
So what are you going to say, then?
What do we think, Barry?
I've got a 100% wrong record on this current
It's time for a change,
It's
Barry.
time for a change.
Whatever you say, we're going with.
I think it's true.
In fact, it's a
You
lie.
think it's true? Is that what you're saying, Lee?
No, opposite no. What do you think?
I think it's true.
Oh, you think it's true?
Yeah.
You both say true.
I'm going to say true.
Well, I'll go with my team and say it's true.
You say it's true. OK, Miranda, the cigar, Christmas morning, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, it's a lie. Miranda does not smoke a full cigar before she gets out of bed on Christmas morning. Next. It's Lee.
I have perfect pitch, so can listen to any noise and tell you what musical note it is. B flat. I'm joking, I can't do...
You can't do it.
So can you sing us a G?
I can't sing. I can listen to a note and tell you what pitch it is, but I'm not actually very good at... Are you upset?
What was that?
Do it again.
Ah.
Yeah, got it.
What's...
That will be... That's A.
So when did you discover you could do this?
About 30 seconds ago.
So, do you play a musical instrument?
Two, I do... No.
So
yes, I do play musical instruments.
What do you play?
I play guitar, triangle...
Well, you know what, Lee? It's funny you should mention a triangle, because...
Yeah. Ah, the triangle.
You tell me what this is.
Ooh, that is out of tune. Do it again, do it again. One more time, louder. Oh, I'll do it in a minute, I'm just going to serve this customer. G.
It's a G.
G.
It's a G. I don't know if it is or not.
It is. Yeah. David, your tea's ready. Is that the end of the game?
Yes.
That was that last whistle. That was a P.
So what do you think, David? Could that be true?
Stephen?
No.
It's a nonsense. It's all rubbish.
Lie.
They're all saying lie. Lee, truth or lie?
It was a fact, a lie.
Oh. A surprise. Yes, it was a lie. Lee doesn't have perfect pitch. Well, that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal that David's team have romped home to a Christmas victory, 5 points to 2.
Merry Christmas.
We got hammered. But it's not just a team game, and my individual Christmas liar is Miles Jupp. Yes, Miles Jupp. His pants are on fire, which is amazing when you consider how hard it is to get tweed to burn. Good night.